What is going on, my beautiful people? What is going on? This is your certified life and relationship coach, Coach Court. In today's video, we're going to talk about whether you're just an option to your dismissive avoidant or if they view you as the one. How does that help you? Why does anyone care about that? Why does anyone care about being the one? I guess, unfortunately, when dismissive avoidance when they're starting to like really feel that friction in relationships, it's more important to them whether they feel like you're someone that they can have an actual future with. So if you're someone they consider the one, they will be more likely to do things that they wouldn't do whether if you're someone that they're just like playing the field with. All right. And I've took some notes here for you guys, but I want to give you a break here to let you get in here. Let me know where you're from. Put a one in the chat if you can hear me right now. And I also want you to let me know where you're coming from. This is a follow up directly from the video that I did yesterday. I think it was called an avoiding being the one versus if you're just an option. So I want to answer your questions live today, and I want to go a little bit deeper. I want to dive deeper on this topic because I feel like when you're dating someone who's a dismissive avoidant, they can come across as someone that may be a player. Let me know if you can hear me. Let me check my live real quick so I know that I'm actually live. And yeah, I'll try to listen in and see if I can hear myself. So I know that. All right, we're good to go. We're good to go. Appreciate you for being here. Like I said, put a one in the chat if you can hear me, and let me know where you're coming from. I'm gonna dive deep into this because I want to just be able to clear things up for you. And I've searched high and low. I'm gonna be honest. Let me know what you guys think. I feel like I'm the only relationship coach that is in the attachment style field that just gives so much free value away and really care about building this community here on YouTube and allowing you guys to have a voice and doing little things like this, pop-up live sessions, helping you guys understand your situation, helping you guys determine whether you should walk away from a relationship or if this person can overcome some of their attachment wounds. Gina, hello. Thanks for coming. I appreciate that. Yeah, it was a good session. I hope you learned something from me. I said your name on here. I hope that's okay because I know a lot of people are private about the things that they're going through. I'm going to throw this up here because I thought it was pretty cool that they allow you to see what um what people are saying on the live session. Actually, I'll just keep it there. No worries. All right, so I have a bullet point of things here I want to talk about. First, I'm going to talk about when you're just an option, when an avoidance sees you as just an option, and then I'm going to dive a little bit deeper into when they view you as someone as the one. And following up what I said on my video yesterday, I personally don't believe in the one. I I don't know where that concept came from. I think there's people that you'll always be deeply attracted to and you'll have a deep attachment to, and that happens all throughout your life. Maybe once or twice a decade you will meet someone that'll be someone you consider to be the one in that moment. And those relationships that you were intentional about, you're intentional about um having things in common, you're intentional about having good communication and keeping good communication, whether that's being child rearing or where you're going in your direction in life. I think you do have people like that that are, I think it was a quote that I heard that said, love isn't about compatibility, it's about adaptability. You'll meet someone that's more adaptable than the person that you were with before. So I'm not going to waste any more of your time. The very first sign that someone is just an option, or they or the dismissive avoidance sees you as just an option, is they keep the relationship undefined so you never fully know where you stand. I want you to put a one in the chat or say that's me if you feel like that's your scenario right now. The reason that they do that, I believe, is because um, that's those are the players. Like they literally are the players, and they want to make sure that you're still around as a backup instead of leaving you in this weird limbo. And I know people in here that are in this situation right now, and yeah, mm, yeah. So I apologize if that's the case for you, and I'm putting you on blast, but I gotta say what I gotta say. You know, and number two is their communication is inconsistent and always happens on their term. That's a dead giveaway. Number three, they withdraw after deeper emotional conversations instead of leaning in. When you're just an option to an avoidant, um, that vulnerability is very scary to them. They feel like they can't. They almost have like this instant regret. You know, it's like a sub, like they like have this sobering moment where they're like, "I why did I tell you that? That's not what. That's you're not even someone that I consider to be like the person that's for me." So the fact that you have this inventory on my life right now about what I've been through, some of the things that I've experienced, I almost, for lack of a better word, I almost resent you for knowing that now. So what they do is they pull away after they do something like that, right? Number four, I'm gonna just do five. I have a ton of things here. I'm gonna just do five for you. Number four, you're the one chasing. If you guys are just coming in here, I'm talking about when you're just an option. I'm going to get into, you know, if you are considered the one later on, because I think there's a big difference with how much they decide to fight for that relationship when they view you as just an option, or they're playing the field, or there's someone that they feel like they can go for a long time with you. Number four, you're the one chasing connection while they control when and how it happens. Okay, so I have someone in here I just saw pop up that's in the same exact scenario. I'm not going to say your name, but I know who you are. Um, I know this is the connection that you're in right now, and it's mighty funny that when you decide to pull back and not give a lot of your energy to this, that they're the ones that's coming more towards you, and I think it's because, for a lack of better words, there are certain type of avoidance that have high narcissism tendencies, meaning you're just like kind of a supply for them. You're kind of a toy, and they're not even remotely interested in giving you exactly what it is that you want, or filling your emotional needs completely, or whatever the needs are in your life. So when you pull back, they want more. They want to make sure that you're still there. Number five, affection feels conditional. It's given when you're easygoing, withheld when you're expressed needs. Right. So this might hurt, but if you're in this scenario and you've watched all these attachment style videos, and the advice that they've given you was you have to be free flowing, easygoing. When a person views you as the one, which means they've gotten through a lot of the different traumas in their life. They've been able to bury some of their past, and they're like, all right, I'm finally ready to find the person that I truly want to be with. They will be able to sit with you through those friction moments. All right. Pause. As the young people say, pause. Let me know where you're from, who you are, what part of the country you're in, what time it is, and then I'm going to get into the five ways to tell that they view you as the one, because I think it's important. Pause, pause. All right, I'm only giving this 30 seconds, right? Because I don't want to waste anyone's time. And then we'll get to the second half of the things I have to say. When you're the one, all right. Now, Gina, all right, you're in here. I kind of had you in mind when I was making this list. Gina, someone I work with, someone that she's having some real good moments. She's having some breakthrough moments, and it's actually pretty cool to see. And she's highly emotionally intelligent. Highly emotionally intelligent. All right, time's up. Let's get to the second half here. When you're the one to an avoidant. If you guys are just coming in, let me know where you're from, who you are. I saw some people just pop in here. When you're the one, what an avoidant would do is they will regulate their emotions instead of disappearing during conflict. They are able to regulate themselves, meaning, what they usually do is they'll shut down, they'll get quiet, they'll dissociate from conversations that you guys are having. But when they view this as like a scenario that they view as healthy, believe it or not, like avoidants aren't attracted to dysfunctional relationships. They have no bandwidth for drama, for toxicity, for things that they don't see as necessary communication, necessary arguments. They just don't. So let's say that you were someone and it was like this rare moment where you had to like protest or set a boundary. If you're more secure, they will be able to sit with that and help navigate through that. But you only get so many mulligans before they say, I'm just done with this. I No, this isn't what I want to do. This isn't a relationship I want. Right. Number two, communication becomes steady and you no longer have to guess how they feel. This is one of the bigger ones. And this is kind of, what people start to think that, oh, I think they might have love bombed me in the beginning, or they might have kind of been masking in the beginning of the relationship, because in the beginning the communication was steady. They were pursuing me. They were the ones that were wanting a relationship with me. And I always have to ask those clients, where did the shift happen? Because if the shift happened when you might have became a little bit more tumultuous or less safe emotionally, then they would start initiating contact through that time. On the flip side, maybe they might have been someone who doesn't have the capacity to go past 3 to 6 months. Maybe they only had 3 to 6 months worth of good communication and good relationship skills within them. But after that, they were just bogged down. I was talking to a guy about that, and I was asking him, because I believe that if you're not intentional about keeping things fresh and keeping communication alive, um, there is an expiration date that happens, and this is usually around that, what people call the power struggle stage. After the honeymoon, there's the power struggle stage, which means that things don't come as easy anymore. You can't ignore red flags anymore. Things take intention. You have to be intentional about how you communicate, how you pursue, or just how you continue to keep that relationship in good standings, right? Like having a good repair plan in place when things fall apart. Listening to another podcaster, and he said, um, I've been listening to this guy for a long time. And what he did in the beginning of his relationship, when he met the person, he asked if they can go to therapy or counseling in the beginning of the relationship, so they have a plan for when things inevitably fall apart, because things always fall apart, right? And she thought that was a great idea. That was the moment he knew that she was compatible, because she was adaptable, right? Because most people think that if you need counseling or therapy, how many times, put a one in the chat if you feel like this is true. How many times have you heard someone say that if we need therapy or counseling, then this isn't a relationship for me, because you don't need that in order to make the relationship work. But everyone needs some sort of support, right? I believe. I think even in my business, like I need business coaches, I need business mentors. I may think that I'm like the greatest whatever, but I'm not. Even in relationships, you might think you're the greatest partner, but there are always blind spots that you guys have, right? I'll take a pause, say hello. Yeah, you made it. Raise the cage. Germany, Stefano. I have a restaurant I go to in town called Stefano's, and Pretty sure that's Italian. But I mean, isn't that the same? That's the same continent, right? My daughter was just learning about continents and countries. All right, moving on. Don't want to bore you about my personal life. All right, so number three, something I just said. I just talked about this. They take accountability when they hurt and work to repair it. Repair plans. Whew. I could talk all day about how I feel dismissive avoidance in particular. They have deep shame wounds and they have a hard time admitting fault or taking accountability for the things that they do because it brings them back to a place when they always felt toxically shamed for the things that they do in relationships. Right? Let me know if you guys have seen this before. Avoidance don't take accountability. Don't do accountability. Yeah. But when you have someone that's more self-aware and you have someone that views you as like the one, they so okay, so I'm gonna tell you, I've seen a crossover before from with people who have strong avoidant tendencies and high functioning autism or like Asperger's. I've seen crossovers there. And in those particular scenarios, not all of them do, not even close. So don't even quote me on that. They have a hard time putting themselves in other people's shoes. They have a hard time seeing things through the lens that you see things through. So sometimes you'll see them mirroring a lot and even projecting some of the ways that they feel onto you because they're not able to truly put themselves in your shoes and see things from your lens. Now, and when it comes to accountability with them, and also you see that I see crossover with narcissism too. Also, I see when people who are more narcissistic, they have a hard time taking that accountability because believe it or not, they come from traumatic backgrounds too. They come from areas of shame and trauma that they work with and they have to work through. So someone shining a light on that and saying, no, you need to take accountability for this, it just brings them back to this. It opens up that deep, deep shame wound that they have from whatever time in life. It's good to see you, Australia. All right. So I'm wrapping this up pretty soon. I'm only going to do about 20 minutes and then I'm going to answer you guys questions. Um, Number four, that dismissive avoidant views you as the one you feel emotionally prioritized instead of waiting for their attention. Now, I want you guys to let me know how many people experience that. Prioritization, people that I know that are more dismissive avoidant, not on the spectrum, not narcissistic, they have a strict regimen that they usually have. And it's hard for them to veer away from that because it intrudes on their autonomy, right? Number five, and the last one, then I'll get to the questions. They make consistent space for you in their life through time, plans, and effort. So it's kind of echoing what I just said before, but I'll dive a little bit deeper. Through time, plans, and effort. I was just coaching someone that was going through this. And for me, I thought, okay, I'm seeing some major red flags here because at some point in that relationship, there was a fracture that happened. And once the avoidance saw this as a relationship that no longer meets the criteria for being a perfect relationship, which is what they always need. They need perfect. They need free flowing, easy going. Then that's when they start to see is like, all right, now I don't see this person as being a long term candidate because I can't meet them where they're at, or um, they just don't see it as something that's like a conflict avoidant type of relationship, which is not even realistic. All right, to the questions. Thank you guys for being here. If you guys are signing off, love you guys. Appreciate you being here. An avoidant, she ghosted me 2 weeks ago. The last conversation wasn't bad, and we were not on bad terms at all. She didn't block me on social media, but she ghosted me. I refuse to go back to that. And that's your right. Not everyone can be in a relationship. Once you determine that the person that you're with most likely has an avoidant attachment style. That is the moment where there should be like a fork in the road. You should see the lines in the matrix and think, is this a relationship that I can tolerate? Is this a relationship that I feel is going to be fulfilling with as far as like what I need in a relationship and long-term growth, right? It's your prerogative. Maybe that's what happened because I held her accountable 3 months ago. Ella, well, I know what I know. I know what I know. And if you keep digging your thumb, we're talking specifically about the accountability and the shame wound. If you keep rubbing your thumb in that wound, they're going to secretly and silently start resenting you for doing so. For majority of people, let's say healthier attachers, we like being held accountable. We like knowing where our flaws are and how we can improve and how we can heal and how we can grow the relationship closer, right? It's not that way for someone who's dismissive. You're just reminding them, you're holding a mirror to all the flaws that they have when you bring that up. And it kind of reaffirms what they think like, well, I know my ex, I've heard this too many times. Well, you're just like my ex boyfriend. You're just like my ex wife. Meaning you're holding me accountable and you're holding a mirror to my face and making me see the things that I'm doing that's hurting you. That's why they say things like, you deserve better than me. Or maybe this just isn't right for you. All right, so I'm answering this next question. What makes it bad is she thinks she's healed, but oh well. There is a saying, one of my clients, I've been working with her for like a year. We just talk about life on calls sometimes now. She said that her first year in psychology class, because she took psychology as well, and she said that the professor said in that class the very first day, kind of quoted the Buddha saying people have limited capacity, right? And unfortunately, a lot of people are sleeping and they'll be angry when you wake them up. For people who are healthy, growth mindset, have a growth mindset, they'll be appreciative when you woke them up. Like, oh, thank you for telling me about that. Thank you for giving me feedback on what I need to do better in the next relationship. But unfortunately, there are many people who just are blissfully in their sleep and they don't want to be awakened. And the fact that you had to be the one, what I'm saying? Don't kill the messenger. The fact that you had to be the one to awaken them um, makes them resent you, makes them resent the relationship, and it also might bring up that shame wound again that they feel because they were vulnerable and they let you see that wound that they had. So that's all I have for you. Good to see you, Gina. If you found this video of any value, comment on it, share it, like it. I don't know if you want to share with people in your close circle because I know people are private when it comes to relationship matters. But you can reach out to me on my social media accounts. Instagram is I am Coach Court. Facebook is Coach Court, and you can book a one-on-one call with me on my website at www.fruitfulseeds, which is e at the end.com. And always remember, when you go and be loved, you'll never have to find it. God bless.